I'd like to call to order the meeting of February 18th, 2020. Would you all please stand for the invocation and pledge allegiance to our flag?
Lord, we acknowledge your presence among us tonight. We know you're always with us, and we pray for your guidance during this meeting. Give us the wisdom to work in the best interest of everyone in our community. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Do we have the mic on?
Here.
Robert? McBain?
Here.
Liston?
Here.
D'Attilio?
Here.
Noel? Eichmann?
Here.
Willard?
Here.
Hudson?
Here. You all received the meeting minutes for February 4th. Any comments or questions on those? Hearing none, they'll stand as presented. You received a letter from the American Legion Auxiliary Unit 290 to hold the annual Poppy Days on Friday, May 8th, as well as Saturday, May 9th, 2020 in the city of Columbiana. I have a motion to approve that request.
So moved.
Oh, come on.
No, I just want to thank you for letting us do Poppy Days.
Oh. A roll call?
Becker?
Yes.
Sauber?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Liston?
Yes.
D'Attilio?
Yes. All right, I didn't see you sitting back there.
You wouldn't have thanked us if we voted no.
Well, I know you thanked us before we voted. That's called assumption close.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I'm
Forced
sorry.
me.
You received the Planning Commission meeting minutes from February 11th, as well as the Park Recreation and Cemetery Board meeting minutes from January 27th. Any comments on either of those?
Sounds like we're making good progress with Mr. Hicklin.
With what?
With Mr. Hicklin,
Yes.
on his stuff.
It was a very good discussion at the Planning Commission, and I think we've, I think a hearing.
Yeah, March 10th.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it was very positive.
Now, ultimately, will the planning commission decide on that condition, or will that come back to us?
Yeah, that's, it'll be finalized, after that meeting. The planning commission will be the final,
Okay,
I'll say.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we had less fanfare than the first discussion with him, but it was very good. Based on the meeting, I do suspect that there will be neighbors here probably. Several voiced complaint in that meeting. We told them to come to the hearing to voice them there. But the plans he submitted comply with
All of the zoning.
Good. Move right into the manager's report.
Okay. I've got a brief, just give you a brief rundown of the regular manager report, and we'll move right into 2019 overview. Jesse and Mike and I, along with John John Vonagel from Howes & Baird, we met with OEMA, and actually we found out we qualified for another $110,000 for management costs for that upcoming FEMA project on West Salem Street. So we're really excited about that, and that's going to start. So what basically we're allowed to do now is log all of our hours that we put on it towards that $110,000, and it's going to push us into a single audit, and we're allowed to expense that out on this project too. So very excited.
Great.
I did place a motion on the agenda regarding advertisement, the bids for ODOT Phase 1 project. Again, Rita's having Tax Day, Pavilion 1 on March 19th. Everyone saw it. I know Braden's out there, he shared it with everybody, but, HDTV, we submitted that application to, HDTV on February 6th, and, as of tonight, it's been viewed over 6,600 times, so it's pretty cool. And, thank you to Don Authors and, Rose Conrad from, R&B for putting all that together, so it's really good quality stuff, and it'll be exciting to see how well we do, and, keep sharing it, and like to get 10,000 views on that, but we'll see what happens. We do have a couple CRAs, the ones that we've been talking about for a while. I just went back to the school here at the end of last month, and that was the Tucker Cope and the ABL Industries. So those are both on tonight. And with that, we can start with the overview. Take a second here. You didn't think you were going to get through this without seeing the nicest place in America, did you? So it was a really cool year. This was a really neat process, as you all know. We followed that, and again, we thank Reader's Digest and Crown Theater. It really gave us some momentum to move forward. Council overview: we implemented the HRA insurance program for the first time, and this is all in 19. It's what we started. Contracted with Rita for the income tax. We implemented the DORA. We updated the credit card policy, vehicle policy. Deb Brown visited about a year ago, and that was part of that RCAP that I'll talk about in a little bit. That was a grant that we got to bring her in. She kind of started the momentum here. And then the council formed a negotiating committee and housing council, and we held 2 workshops last year. We took one blight structure down since 2016. We've taken 16 down. We made a concerted effort between Planning Commission and Council back in 15-16 to go after these blight properties. We really concentrated on business retention projects, and we're going to continue to do that with Port Authority and County Development. Bergen and Associates, they brought 35 real estate agents out on a tour last spring. That was pretty cool. Took them for a 2-hour tour of the town, showed them all the properties that were available. Some of the CRAs that were passed, or at least in the progress, CM6 that was out in Industrial Park, ABL Wholesale, R&L is in the process right now. I'm going to school board next week, and then we'll be back to this council to talk about that expansion. And that's, I believe that one's a $22 million expansion, and it's going to retain 360 jobs and add like about 80 to 100 over the next 5 years. Let's see, so Tucker Cope talked about that. We completed the Mirror Lake project. We renewed Efficiency Smart, and the CRA, we had 70 units. Did the $1.7 million paving project for ODOT. Put a generator at one of the wells, electric line loop, which I'll talk about in a little bit. I went to the Main Street Conference as a part of a grant through RCAP, got some ideas through that, and we implemented those through the Progress Committee. ICMA, I went to a national conference for city managers. We applied for 5 different stormwater grants and prepared for the ODOT project that's coming up. It's been a long time coming. And we did experience a large rain event, over 200-year event out in Cimarron Development. It's a pretty big deal. The Chamber Parade was really cool. They honored the Crown Theater kids and Mary Lou Wilson. And then we were in the paper from Cleveland Plain Dealer and the Washington Examiner, which was really cool. We started a hub meeting that is the Chamber and the Tourism meeting once a month, just to make sure we're all on the same page and we're not working in parallel. Last year, we announced $2.3 million in grants for 2019, and we say announced because we may not see these funds for years to come. For example, Duquesne, I believe that's a 2023 or 2024 project, and we're just now announcing it now. Chief was successful in getting a couple grants in there, as well as, Chief Gladys and Chief Garrity. These are the grants that we were awarded since 2014, over $20 million. It's a lot of money. I looked it up. We've actually done, since 2005, we did over $40 million in improvements since 2005 for the city and infrastructure. And I know these are just the grants that we've got since 2014. Community service, we could spend a whole hour on this, but I know American Legion does a lot, and thank you for representing back there for American Legion. They do the American flags, street fair, do all kinds of stuff for us, and we really appreciate that. The chamber, very important part of our community. They, we work very closely with them. They do provide the flowers down on Main Street, and very active in all the other things throughout the year. The Joy Christmas is a huge part of the town, and we appreciate East Fairfield Church, everything they do. And then, of course, the Chamber and the Tourism donated the Christmas tree, and Jeff Stoy did the installation of concrete at Pavilion 4. Progress Committee, Deb Brown came in. We did put XM radio on South Main Street. Chalk Festival, that was one of the pretty successful events. We learned about it in Seattle when I was there, and then was talking to Brian. He ended up going to Florida and was down there for a chalk event, and that's how we found the artist. Brian located him down there, and he was from Pittsburgh, so that was pretty cool. We investigated some private partnership for parking, public-private partnership for parking, and it's working out pretty well. We're almost done with a couple things. And then pop-up shops have been very successful, getting the antiques downtown. We did order string lights for South Main Street, so right now they're going parallel and perpendicular. We're going to be putting up some lights in the spring where just go parallel. They'll be up all year round, be totally programmable, and we'll be able to change them from my phone. They'll dance just like a normal Christmas tree that has active lights on it. And you can change them to any color, red, white, and blue for 4th of July if you want, or Halloween colors. It doesn't matter. Do whatever you want. We're investigating a shared workspace downtown to try to get some of the people that work from home in the town, and also maybe putting a fab lab in there for the kids after school. And we've been working with Town Center and Associates. They look at the vibrancy of downtown and try to get us to do things to make it a place to be. And we've also been trying to get school involvement into our community. And we sent 14 students to the startup experience. It's a entrepreneurial boot camp out in Western Ohio. We brought in we got a grant to bring in a guy, paid him like $15,000 to teach about 80 kids from 11 different communities. And so we sent kids from Crestview, Columbiana, and Heartland. So it was a really cool thing. Sent them all over there on 2 buses. And all of that's a grant, so. Wastewater, we've been sending biosolids to the landfill for a while. We've hosted field day for RCAP, and water people were, water plant was also involved in that. Been doing SCADA, and big thing out at Creek Road. We pulled a 100 horsepower pump, and the thing cost $16,000. Also had to put, new effluent samplers. Here's a, 2004, Vector. Thing looks brand new, take really good care of it. This is a catch basin that has a bunch of stuff in it, and that's it afterwards. It's a 100 horsepower pump coming out of Creek Road. That's the one that just mentioned. Water department, we did drill a test well. Looking into, we did asset management, contingency plan, valve exercising plan. We had to do all of this for the EPA. We also held the USDA 1-year warranty meeting. They were very successful in hauling the Lime Lagoon content this year, 1 million gallons, and it really lowered the levels, so that was really good. They hosted AWWA meeting and also a chamber safety meeting, and got a new excavator, valve turner, and hosted a distribution class for OTCO. New water plant. So the city of Columbiana probably has 3 tables there of our employees that are getting continuing eds for water and wastewater. All those other people are from northeastern Ohio and western PA. Just really cool to you know, to be have a site here where we're promoting education. This is them outside. It's up by the clubhouse.
Remember, I came out of the house and said, what the heck is going on?
This is basement Best Western. This is the AWWA meeting. There's probably a little over 100 people there, and we had a couple speakers too. This is the smaller version what the wastewater has. This is a Vector unit that sucks out things, and they can dig up small things like curb boxes with this. This is that main water break that we had back in the summer, where we had every department, all hands on deck. That's what 500,000 gallons a day looks like going to the catch basin. There's a catch basin right here. That's why it's so hard to find. This is Route 14 up here, and this is a, you see a tire right there. So this was a driveway coming off of Route 14, and we spent, I don't know, 5, 6, well, we spent, how long? We spent 9 hours looking for it. Mother Nature would have found it when she took that telephone pole right there a little bit later. We'd have known. But we have over 49 miles of water lines, and we had probably 30 people looking, and we basically just scoured the whole entire city for this water break. It's huge. Without the water plant that we had, we'd have all been without water, because the staff just, you know, did an excellent job. They got the plant running and just kept producing water, and it was going down the drain, but we kept producing it to keep pressure to the rest of the city. There's also a 12-inch main that we just ran, $1 million line from Industrial Park to Pizza Hut, like running right through here on the other side, and that was able to keep the pressure live, so we didn't have a large boil order. This is a generator out at the Metz Road ball field. There's 2 wells out there. Park and Cemetery, boy, we've been doing a lot of work out there. Again, thanks to East Fairfield Church for all the work they do and enjoy Christmas. We sealed the walking trail last year. There were some fundraisers through R&B and some other organizations. Mirror Lake Restoration. Fish, they got all the fish out of Mirror Lake and then put new ones back in. And then, sure you've all been around the pond, the Mirror Lake. It's absolutely beautiful. We added some heat and air in Pavilion 4 and heat in Pavilion 2. And we ran some new spigots at the cemetery and the park. We got a couple new doors on the concession stand windows. And you'll see here in a minute where we put a fence around the storage building. Mirror Lake, some of these, this is from 2018 actually. That's when we kicked off the project. That's what it looked like last summer. but we, you know, it was all new to us. You know, we thought digging out the pond was gonna help us with the algae. Quickly found that that wasn't the case. The algae started getting ahead of us, so we actually called the aqueduct, and they came in there and started cleaning it up. Just another shot of it. This is the fountain that the tourism donated $3,000 towards. And all the cement around here, right around here, was put down by Jeff Stoy, and free of charge. This is the material bin at the behind the park shop. Just the pictures of the AC unit, heat unit, much like the one that we have on the wall here. These are the hydrants at both the park and the cemetery. This was one of the fundraisers. This is, if you haven't seen this picture, this was the Beatlemania tribute band to the Beatles. There's 3,000 people out there that day. They had 900 parking spaces, and they were all filled. And the band was playing right here, and then these are the two jumbotrons that showed the band. It's pretty cool. Electric department, we've been working on this reclosure project right out in front of the Legion. We're going to be doing we won't even be able to see it, but it's a protective device that we're going to be putting on there, so in case anything happens out at 7 and 14, it may be able to catch it before it comes back into the city, like any high voltage spikes or anything. And we ordered that last year. It came in, and now it's going to take us probably 6 months to install it. Very technical switches and things that they have to do to program it. We did get a new electric building out at the industrial park, sent some employees to lineman school. We installed the service for the 7 and 14 traffic lights, completed a $400,000 electric loop, and I'll show you that in a minute. Event banners, we've been doing that for a couple years with the new poles. We installed over 3 miles of fiber to all of our different infrastructure, and did the routine inspection of the trucks and some predictive analytics on the distribution system. So the new building is new to us. This was part of M&E on lumber before. So it's us cleaning it up before we moved in. This is a build out on the break room. So when it's done. This is a new radio tower. Prior to this, the police would be out at 7 and 14. If they got out of the vehicle, they wouldn't have, they didn't have any radios, because even though they had a radio on their side, it wasn't getting back to us. And if it was shoddy. So they put I believe this was a 75-foot pole out here, and then put the chief's, I think that's a repeater up there, and then that talks to City Hall, police station. A new digger truck. So this is a loop project. This is Heck Road. This is the industrial park right here. And then we're going to go out to Route 7. Shaker and Woods is up here, just to put it in perspective. We ran a line down here, down 7 towards this is kind of an old photo, aerial photo, but this is Homestead down here. Then we backfed Royal Brookdale back through there. That was a $400,000 project. This is sometimes you got to climb the lines. You just can't use the bucket truck. Street department, they fixed a lot of storm lines. Branch and leaves have been a problem the last couple of years, and we'll be able to say next year at this time, we think we have a solution. There's a tub grinder. I've never seen one before, but it's basically it mulches up the leaves and the branches, and it's been on site this year for us, but not last year. So there's a huge pile of leaves that they're making smaller. So We've been working on the major stormwater project. We're still doing the distribution of the bags for the leaves. So 2018, 2019, we plowed 14 times and treated 30 times. It did 850 tons of salt. And this year, this might be a little bit of old data. We might have plowed one other time, but up until I think February, let's see, can't remember the date, but anyways, 4 times and 16 times so far this year. We're saving on salt, but we need to, because it went from $40 a ton to $86 a ton. Our staff works with Fairfield Township to pave every year. We did one mile with our staff, and then we did 6 miles from the state. Took in 57 loads of brush, leaves, 155 loads. That's that backhaul that you hear throughout the fall. 38 trucks of leaves in bags. And town cleanup, we did 15 40 cubic yard dumpsters. And the tires, we took in 329, 20 trucks, and 11 agricultural and 23 other. And then when we drained Mirror Lake, there was about 240 tires at the base of that. So we're not sure if they were using it for fish habitat or just someplace to get rid of tires. I'm not sure. But we recycled them. So catch basin and storm restoration, we do that all the time. We went down to FEMA seminar, and we also did 80 ADA ramps, which I got a picture of one in here. This is West Woodland on the south side of town. This is our paving. This is out in front of the Southside Fire Station. It's really nice right through here now. And this is North Main Street. This is just an approach that we had to do, and then these are the ADA accessible ramps, and we did work out with an outside firm. We had to do that because the new paving was coming in, and you know, we're doing a major project, and we had to update to current ADA standards. This is Windjammer. The Bellaria sits here. Car wash is over here. This was ground down for a while. It was a little bit of a pain, but we got a good deal because when they did the state routes, we just had them come down here and grind it, but we weren't quite ready to pave it. This is where the new fountain sits. The old one sat there, and a couple different departments, but mainly I think the street department played a big role in taking all that concrete out. We're always doing storm damage cleanup. And then this is the door trailer and the door sign that we use for the door events. Right behind this pile is where we were piling the leaves. You can see a little bit of it here, but by the end of this year, it was clear out to here. It was a huge pile of leaves. Police department, we talked about this last year, state mandated training, kind of working our way around through that, lots of training. The chief continues with the HEAT program, the K9 program. We did get the new radio tower, and he talked last week about crime disruptor software and leads. We did a software that we use. These people come in and do an audit, and we've had to do some upgrades. This is a radio system, pretty high tech. This is a major accident out in front of the Chrysler dealership on 14. All the safety forces there. This is that crime disruptor software that the chief talked about last week. Kind of what it looks like. One of the pages. Of course, you saw that we implemented the detector last year. Fire department. Thanks to all the citizens for the support of the fire levy. They operate solely on that fire levy, and it's very important to us. So thank you for that. Southside Fire Station, they finished paving that. They held their 10th annual pancake breakfast, 13th annual safety day. It was pretty cool. They held that out to Southside Fire Station. They did hold a chamber safety meeting out there. Chief reports that we have 22 firefighters, 490 years of experience, and pretty much the same amount of calls as last year, just 3 up. So 194 this year. Training's a huge deal for the safety forces. They logged over 1,000 hours. They did 44 inspections for fire, and that's commercial. 38 Knox boxes, so if a business or a church or something like that, you know, they're not manned all the time, but they're first on the scene, and they can get into using this technology, this Knox box. The chief, I mentioned, he did get a grant from the BWC for an extractor, and I'll show you that next couple pictures. And then we did buy firefighting boots for all the firefighters. Picture of the Southside Station. We're just pointing out here the new sign they put is really nice. And then a little tribute to former Chief Charlie Floor. All of his proceeds, he passed away. They asked him to donate to the Columbiana Fire Department, and we'll use that money, and our firemen, along with another department or two, put this up. So I thought that was really nice of them. Just paving Southside Fire Station. This is an extractor. It takes the carcinogens off of the fireman's wear after a fire. Been seeing that a lot on TV. Cancer is a huge thing with the fire department, and we were able to get a grant to buy this, and that grant came with 2 sets of gloves for each of the firemen and 2 hoods, and then you throw those in that high-tech clothes washer. EMS had 1,400 calls and 700 transports last year. We switched to University Hospital for our protocol, and basically that's who we work with now for our EMS things, and they give us free basic and advanced life support drug boxes, free online training, continuing eds, and they actually provide a better protocol. And actually, most of the area EMSs went with this, and it's really neat to have somebody from University Hospital have presence in this area, from being way up there. They purchased a chest compression device and switched to backpack medic bags. This is a chart from 2000 to 2019. It just kind of shows you the number of calls. The blue are the total calls, and the red are the transports, and kind of hit a plateau here 2017 through present. That is an automatic CPR device and chest compression device, and that's the unit that Tom showed me one day, and I'm about passed out watching it. It does the CPR, and anybody that's ever done CPR, about 2 minutes into it, you're about ready to have a heart attack yourself. And this unit has a battery in it. You can strap it to the patient on the top floor and carry them down on the stretcher, and that thing just keeps going. And I spared you from seeing the video because it's not good. It's disturbing. But it doesn't break ribs it's better at it than we are, I guess. But thankfully, we have one for each ambulance, and it fits right here in this backpack. And this is the back style medic bags. The old bags, they were just duffel bags, and you put them over one side, and they're inconvenient and hard on your back. These are the drug boxes. This is the basic one, and this is the advanced one. So that's really it. We're going to just kind of looking into the future now. We're going to continue with the fiber optics. We're going to continue to collaborate with the Port Authority, economic development, work closely with the Chamber of Commerce, business attraction meetings, which they're involved in, looking at the new industrial park. We have to look at asset management for all the departments. The stormwater utility, we're getting a lot of stormwater projects, and we're going to have to maybe start looking at that someday down the road. Town center and marketplace is that thing you know, as it grows out there, we're gonna have to, you know, watch staffing and you know, size of the city. Continue to work with R&B, been very important in this community for a while, and looking at the administration building. With that, that's it.
That's it.
I can tell you though, you know, we mentioned all those grants. Those grants, and I say this each time we get one, but couldn't do it without council getting along to do that. I mean, we might take that for granted, but there's a lot of communities that I know that, you know, they spend a lot of time worrying about things that you know, kind of distract them from what we've done. Just from 2014, look at all those grants. I mean, and there's been times where, you know, you get grants and if we don't all work together from here, the county and the state level, we wouldn't get them. We maybe take them for granted if we're getting them now, but it's truly because we're all working together, and that's from council and to my staff out here. All of them work really hard. Really appreciate it. It's hard to boil everything down that we do in, you know, 35 minutes, but it's still a good idea to see it. I mean, it's pretty overwhelming if you look at it. I mean, in 2018, for example, what would have been a huge project any other year, fire department, we did a water plant at the same time, water lines same time, and it's all working together, and want to thank all the staff for being here. They're a great team, and means a lot to us that you guys do everything, work together. What I love about it is, you know, we're a small city that works big, you know, they work together. It's really cool.
Lance, just one question.
Yeah.
A lot of cities, older cities, you know, a lot of them older than us,
Yeah.
Are concerned with aging infrastructure, things that they know are potentially going to be failing in, you know, 5 to 10 years. Do we look at those kinds of things and develop plans for how to handle them and deal with them? Yeah,
I mentioned it twice tonight. Asset management's another word for that. So you have to take care of what you have. So wastewater department, we did one in 2014. It was a long study, what they do is they sit down and look at the age of all the infrastructure, and we have to have a plan of replacing it, because you know it's not going to get any better by itself.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of what I was getting at. You know, things like the water plant wouldn't have happened if people didn't start looking at it many years ago.
Yeah.
And you know, you think about things like water lines that have been in the ground for 50 or 100 years, you know, at what point do you have to worry about replacing them and doing something with them? So, it's good to hear that you're looking at that as well as, you know, just the things that have been done.
Yeah, and there's some trenchless technology that's making maybe a little simpler. You know, the wastewater department, we've done underground technology where you line the sewers to extend their lives, and then if you're putting new ones in, you might be able to do it all underground and just do you know, particular tie-ins. And then, like I said, you got 49 miles of electric, you got 49 miles of water lines, and you got 49 miles of sewer that we all have to, you know, take a look at and continue to service. So. And the roads too. I mean, look at the roads. It's a
continuous process.
It is, and again, all the superintendents are looking forward, as well as Mike, you know, on our plans, and you know, we have to take care of what we've got, and sometimes it's overwhelming looking at it. You know, you got, but these grants that we've gotten have really helped. You know, I mean, 6 miles of blacktop cost us $356,000. I mean, it was a deal of the century. You know, so. And then the stormwater that we're putting in is really going to help in the future get that water off the land and out of the sewer. So
Well, and sometimes I think people look at, you know, when you pop a figure out of $350,000.
Yeah.
Okay, it was a great deal. If we didn't have that deal, give us an estimation of what if we had to do it out of our city. We begin to realize how important that is.
Yeah, I'll say $100,000 per mile, Jesse, is
This
it?
project was 1.7, we paid 20%.
Yeah. So how much does it cost you to
I can
pay?
do a mile road for, it's right around 90,000 right now.
Yeah, so,
So 66 and 2/3% saving to the city.
yeah,
See,
absolutely.
that's magnificent. That simple explanation means a lot, because a lot of people may not understand.
Yeah.
Not to test their intelligence.
Yeah, all that grant money we don't have to pay back, and it's something it's inevitable anyways.
I'll give you another example on that FEMA project. It's a $2.2 million project. We're paying $180,000. The FEMA grant was 75%. The state kicked in 12.5, and we got a CBDG grant for $100,000. It only costing the city 8% to do that project, which otherwise we probably couldn't have.
Yeah.
But the best part of these grants, I've said it before, what's our income tax bring in, about $2 million a year now?
2.4.
Okay, so if you look at since 2014, you do that times 6 years, you're only at 12.5 million.
Mhm.
It's over 20.
Mhm.
So if you look at that, every single dollar that taxpayers are paying in income tax is being matched almost 2 to 1
Yeah.
in grant. So it's really like operating 3 times larger than we are,
Yeah.
without having to repay it. And you've said it before, and we've seen it firsthand, that when you start getting these grants, and the teams and you guys work with them so well, they want to give you more.
Yeah.
Because, they see, first of all, that we get along, that the money's not gonna get flushed down the toilet somewhere. They can see that the projects actually happen, and whenever they have something else come up, they're gonna think of us to do it because they know it's a good investment.
Yeah.
And I think that momentum just spawns more. And I don't think it's an accident. I think that you guys have represented the city extremely well. Every time we go to something and these people are talking, that's what they say, how good the city is to work with.
Yeah.
And it's a benefit for everyone. I would also think it's pretty neat to see, I think virtually every piece of the city, in one way or another, last year was touched in investments
Oh, absolutely.
from that.
Yeah. Good point.
Well, could you imagine what the city would look like if we didn't have the grants?
Yeah, 6 years ago.
All these guys can. Yeah.
I mean, it would really be terrible, and
Yeah.
once the city became where like it looks now, you couldn't afford the tax.
It'd be 3 times as much.
She astronomical. So, those grants mean a lot, and just to kind of piggyback on Brian for a second, the people who are giving us these grants, or allowing us to have these grants, they get graded on that. And they do want to give the money to cities that are able to produce and get things done on time, because their promotions, their salaries are based on that. Every month, they go up there and their boss will say, well, how's the grant going that came to Columbiana? Oh, they're ahead of schedule, everything's fine, and they get a star, essentially. They go up there and say, well, I don't know, Columbiana's not doing too good for this one. They've kind of wasted a lot of the money, and they're about 2 years behind schedule, and we just don't know where it's going to go. We're really failing on this one. They're going to think twice about giving us another one. So that's the kudos. We keep doing that good work. Well, I know for a fact, Lance has been called that, hey, we have some extra money.
Exactly.
Submit this, because they know they'll do a good job, and you guys will do a good job. So, we benefit tremendously. Thank you.
I just had one thing. I was going to have the chief talk a little bit about the announcement that came out. It was confidential for a couple of weeks there for the chief and I, but go ahead, chief.
So I saw it front page of today's paper. I did a nice article on that. The Ben Roethlisberger Foundation, about the middle of last year, reached out to me and asked about our canine program. They'd heard about community fundraising efforts that we mounted and all the support that this community showed to the police department and their canine program. We thought that was a kind of an interesting idea, and they asked us to apply. So we filled out an application and detailed everything we'd done. We finally got the announcement, and they told us to keep quiet about it until they released the press release. And they gave that press release, and they gave us $5,000, which is a pretty significant donation toward going toward a second dog to help us to cover the uncovered shifts that can't be covered all the time by the original dog. There was only about 8 departments, I should say, that got distributed grants in the last part of the 19-20 grant funding season. And, you know, we also compete with other interests that Ben Roethlisberger has. Ben is a big supporter of the Make-A-Wish Foundation and a number of other charities, so we felt very fortunate to get this. One thing I want to say that really hasn't come out really all that publicly is we could not have made this happen without the Columbiana Community Foundation. They don't grant it directly to a police department. You have to have a nonprofit to work that through. And I spoke with Deanne and the folks at the foundation. They graciously agreed to be that conduit for us and to help us with that application and to do those things. And without them, we wouldn't have even got it. So not only did getting the money from Ben, but also the foundation chipping in there, helping us with the administrative end of that made it possible. If anybody knows Baker Mayfield or some of the Browns, tell them they need to match this up. They got a lot of quarterbacks. They got a lot of the salary cap there, before I get leave 10 on. That's what it was. If you have questions, I'm glad to answer. But man, we're very excited to get that grant, because without that, you know, we don't kick off a good fundraising program, and it's hard to go to people and say, hey, we need money, and we haven't done everything you can to get money first. And that's what we're trying to do, is tap all the sources we can find, and then, you know, go back to the well and try to make this thing happen. We've got some ways to save money over the original time too, and we're moving ahead. So we appreciate the support of council and this city and everybody in it.
Just another example of this city working together to make things happen.
And reaching out to us, they apply for this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, the Community Foundation was glad to be able to help facilitate.
Brian, I do have 2 more quick things. The hub met, and that's the tourism, the chamber, and I go to those meetings, and they're going to put a float into the Youngstown St. Patty's Day parade, so that's coming up. Anybody that wants to donate any candy, just get a hold of me. I guess they have 30,000 people that watch that parade, so, you know, we have maybe 5,000, and we run out of candy about halfway through. So we've got we're seeking some donations for that. But it is going to be it's going to be long trailer, nicest place in America. Banners on the side that'll be green, and actually I think Terry McGoy is going to dress up as a leprechaun, so I can't get that out of my mind. But it'll be fun. So we're going to have a Workers' Day, Terry, on the 7th of March, and then the 15th is the parade. So that's cool. It'll be pretty neat. And then the other one, we've been working with. The R&B has they have so many projects going on. They have sports courts. It's what they want to do this year, along with the other, the softscapes and all that we're working on. They're talking about a dog park, so we're going to try to do a crowdfunding model to do that, and we'll probably kick it off sometime in the spring. We're going to try to do a video much like we did the HDTV application, and try to get the community support through, for a dog park. So it'll be cool.
He's going to change his beard to orange.
Yes, he is.
Be worth going just to see.
Anything else?
That's it.
I need a motion to authorize the city manager to advertise for request for qualifications for engineering for the upcoming East Park Avenue, Springfield Road, and Heck Road reconstruction project.
Seconded.
Any comments? Roll call?
Souter,
Yes.
McBain,
Yes.
Liston,
Yes.
DiTilio,
Yes.
Becker,
Yes.
Have you all received the bill list for February 18th? Any comments on it? There is no old business. Due to the length of the ordinances, can I have a motion to read them by title only as well as B and C as emergencies?
So moved. Second.
Actually, it would probably be A and B because we already did A.
Still B and C.
B and C.
Yeah, beans.
Roll call?
McBain,
Yes.
Liston,
Yes.
DiTilio,
Yes.
Becker,
Yes.
Souter,
Yes.
Resolution number 20-R-550, emergency. An emergency resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a CRA agreement with 308 Pittsburgh Street LLC for the city of Columbiana.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call?
Liston,
Yes.
DiTilio,
Yes.
Becker,
Yes.
Souter,
Yes.
McBain,
Yes.
Resolution number 20-R-551, emergency. An emergency resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a CRA agreement with ABL Wholesale Distributors Incorporated for the city of Columbiana.
So moved. Second.
Comments? A roll call?
DiTilio,
Yes.
Becker,
Yes.
Souter,
Yes.
McBain,
Yes.
Liston,
Yes.
Ordinance number 20-0-3028, first reading. An ordinance authorizing the sale or recycling of personal property which is no longer needed for municipal purposes.
So moved.
Second.
Comments? A roll call?
Becker,
Yes.
Souter,
Yes.
McBain,
Yes.
Liston,
Yes.
DiTilio,
Yes.
Is anyone wishing to address council this evening? Come on up.
Hello?
Just state your name, address for the record.
My name is Vinnie Barbone, and we're at 253 South Main Street. I'm new to the area. I just started managing the old number 1 Performance Center. It's going now to be called Columbiana Car Care. We are just coming at you guys to see if you guys are willing to do a car show with us for our grand opening, and we will be working with Angels for Animals to do like cars and critters. So we just figured we'd come to you guys and make sure that we could get approved to do such a thing. And
When would it be?
we're thinking May 26th with a rain date of May 17th.
Do you know when springtime Columbiana is gonna be?
I do not.
springtime is the first weekend in May.
You said May 26th with the rain date of May 17th?
I'm sorry, April 26th
Yeah.
Okay.
with rain date of May 17th. Sorry about that.
Is this on the street? You want this
We're gonna use our parking lot, but we were hoping that between, Unity and Railroad Street, if that was okay. I do work with the Salem Super Cruise. I'm on the board of helping that show. I've been putting on shows for a lot of years, and I kinda know where to go for all the technical stuff, so.
Are you looking at closing the street from?
Just that, I mean, we don't have to go all the way to Unity, but I didn't know what the name of the road was that was closer to us. There's not a sign up. I was just thinking closing that down just between there because we're with Buick Cadillac too. So it's kind of like right in our realm, plus it'll keep cars safe if people start driving through or cars are parked out there.
I think, could you wait till March 4th for this approval?
Yeah.
Because I think us talking to the chief and some other departments might really help out. So we definitely understand what's happening, and maybe we can, you know, we might have to tweak a few things,
Yeah, that's
but,
perfectly fine.
that's what I'd recommend doing.
Yeah, I think you have to work it out with the, city manager and the police chief and everything, and then come back when they have all the details up.
Okay, yeah. This is our first time ever doing something like this.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming here first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Don't
did
wanna
make
get
5
that call.
copies of our proposal. I didn't know there was 9 of you, so I'm sorry. That's it.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful
welcome.
community. I mean, it's shocking how big it is.
Yeah, thanks.
It's pretty awesome to see what transpired in 1 year last year. If you look at, not knocking any other community around, but that was a lot to do in 1 year. And then the national recognition stuff just keeps on top of that, more we could even ask for.
Right.
I mentioned the council comments.
I know there is one event in town on April 26th, the Presbyterian Church is having the Youngstown Symphony Orchestra that night at 6 o'clock.
We would probably do it more towards the morning area, because car show guys usually on Sundays like to cruise to other local car shows that have cruising nights, like a Quaker Stick and Move. We don't have any W anymore, which is horrible.
I just, the things that we've done, and so many communities have taken our lead and followed in our footsteps, it's kind of fun to be the leader.
You're bragging sometimes.
If you're not the leader, the view's all the same.
I would just like to thank the EMS department and the police department for their rapid response last Saturday. I really appreciate it.
Been getting to know you by name.
Yeah, I know. And actually, several of them were there a year ago.
Wow.
Not that you want to be known for, but.
No.
I made a mention at the planning commission meeting about 2 weeks ago. I got a call from someone here locally from YSU that was doing looking for somebody to do an interview with the Atlantic magazine about swing state politics and how Ohio as a swing state is starting to go from purple to more red, specifically like in the Mahoning Valley and things of that nature. And the reporter was from England. And he was trying to tie the story of the whole Midwest to what's going on in England right now with Boris Johnson and Brexit and all that. So it's a pretty big thing to even get asked to be a part of it. But we did the interview in council chambers here for about two hours, and then we went over to dinner at Homestead. And he emailed me today from London, let me know he's going to do a second story about travel through the Midwest and Columbiana. So I thought that was pretty cool.
And where was he at before? That's what amazes me. Tell me where he was at before and where he was going.
He went from like Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. I think he met with like 3 governors. But because Mahoning County is a pivotal swing, he was wanting to meet someone from here and specifically requested a Republican in office to get their opinion on what's going on. But we made it more about Columbiana than Republican politics. I'm just right. So I'll let you guys know whenever that article comes out. He texted me today to let me know that the first segment of it about Columbiana will be a whole separate story, and that he plans on doing that first. And I sent him a letter, the article from the Reader's Digest and the Cleveland Plain Dealer and Lance's article from the Washington Post. We were at dinner whenever he found out. He didn't even know this was the nice place in America. When he found out, he's like, stop going in the store.
Oh my gosh.
No, I've just said it before. This city is just exciting. The people in it, and Michael understood we have to be in here. Love this place.
Yeah, it's been really, I mean, obviously it's the first time I've gotten to sit on this side for Lance's report, but, it is amazing to see the things that are being accomplished here, and I've said it many times, that I'm excited to be a part of it, and, you know, to the city, a lot of superintendents are sitting here, you guys do a great job. I really appreciate all the hard work, the stuff you guys do. You know, I talked to most of you, I think, now. And it's just great to see what you guys do and what you do with the taxpayers' money to make it stretch. Because there's a lot of places that don't stretch money. I mean, you guys can pitch a penny better than anybody I've ever seen, so. So that's, you know, it's exciting to be part of it. I did want to throw a couple of things from our REIT discussion last week, because obviously there's been a lot of stuff online. Brian, you even got in conversations. Lance, one question. Have you said that we had talked to REIT and that there were going to be no fees and penalties for the 19 tax year? More or less?
That's correct.
Okay.
For the first year, we're not gonna be charging.
But we don't wanna make that public knowledge.
Well,
All of a sudden, you're gonna have a whole bunch of people that forgot to pay their taxes.
Well, I mean, I want to extend that past April 15th for starters. If they don't, you know, you normally file by April 15th, I wouldn't, if they don't file by April 15th, I don't see any reason to say, we're not gonna charge you a penalty for that. But a couple of people, I've seen a couple of things online where people said they've gotten bills for like past due stuff, past due quarterlies or whatever. Estimated taxes, that sort of thing. And that have included penalties, so I just wanted to clarify, more stuff like that. And then, another thing on a positive side is I saw more than one comment to some of the stuff that was going on from other communities saying, you know what, it's rough the first year, but once they work out the details, it actually gets a lot better. So, yeah, I'm watching real close. I'll probably comment a lot on what I'm seeing and what people are telling me. And I know others up here are watching too. So, you know, one of the other things I think we need people to understand is we're probably never going back to our own tax administrator. That it's not efficient, it's very expensive. And so if we go through another change, we're going to go through another round of these same problems. So I believe we need to stick it out with Rita for a little while, and if something gets ridiculous, obviously we can attack that, but, you know, we need to have a little bit of patience. I think that's kind of the most important thing I would say.
Follow up on what you said, I did post that out there on purpose, because I wanted to challenge anyone who's complaining about not having access to it, to say, give a call. As of yesterday, we hadn't gotten any. None of the ones that were complaining have actually reached out with a real problem to fix. And I received one email yesterday. It was from someone stating that they read that we had received a complaint, so they wanted to complain. Me first. But after we had a little bit of a back and forth discussion, he understood and we're on the same page that the biggest benefit is that taxpayers who are paying their taxes are better off, because the tax scofflaws who are getting away with not paying them for so long, Rita has the ability to go collect that we didn't before. And that benefit offsets the extra form that has to be filled out, or the little inconveniences. And one of the comments that he made was that I didn't have to do anything. I could just come into the tax office and have it taken care of after I did my federal and state taxes with my accountant. And I was, well, nobody from the feds or the state come and help us do our taxes, and yet we still manage to get them done. So, I mean, this is not like flipping the world upside down to figure out what 1% is.
Well, that's the accountant. After you got it, the accountant.
But after that conversation, it was a different result. But I would just let you know that those people that were complaining still have not reached out. So I think people like to complain. Well, I think some people don't like to pay their taxes and then use this as a reason to not like it.
Right, but what I'm watching for are real specific concerns. And one came up that I'm kind of watching. The people outside the city are saying they're getting levies from Rita. But I just, let that play out and see where it goes. And I mean, I understand they're not our constituents, but
But they may have worked here.
Well, yeah, there are a lot of.
But I'm just saying, there are other reasons to get a tax bill, and sometimes people either don't know, or they think because they moved that, they got away with it. It's not always as you
Right, well,
see on the surface.
what I tell them is call Rita.
Yeah.
That's the first answer, call Rita, and if they're not, if they're not giving you, if they're not working with you, then you can tell us, and we'll certainly, we don't wanna make this a disaster for anybody.
No, I actually call Mike by name.
Yeah, I know.
And I've gotten some, I mean, it's not saying we got zero. I mean, I've had people in my office that got letters from Rita, or they call me on the phone, and, basically I try to tell them, I will investigate it. I don't have all that information right in front of me at my fingertips. I have to take the time to go look it up and find out what the problem was, and get back to them. So, instead of going off like, crazy, just let us look at it.
Right, and I think one of the keys when I used to do IT, one of my first questions when someone called me was, what does the help desk say? And I think that's one of my go-tos at this point is, let's contact Rita. You can call them, you can message them on their website, I've done that. Responses are quick, they're professional, and if they're still not working with you, then let us know, because odds are you'll get it taken care of in 10 minutes.
Yep. So,
I mean, yeah, it's going to be a pain for some people, I believe, but I still think it's a learning curve,
Yeah.
right? Of course, we had people complaining about the timing of the tax day being 9 to 5. And there's nothing we can do about that. And as Lance pointed out to me, our tax clerk went home at 4:30 every day.
Yeah, you'll find someone that'll complain about everything.
right.
We have an office here, they were only open 8 hours a day, what's the difference?
Exactly. But, yeah, I mean, those are the kind of things, it's like, we're doing the best we can, right? And there are gonna be some hiccups, there are gonna be some issues, but we're gonna work with people, and I just want, as I tell people online, we're watching, and I know all of us are watching, to say, look, just bear with us, let us figure it out, and, but it's not gonna change. If we don't go with Rita, we're gonna go with somebody else.
Yeah, what I tell people is that if you look online, most people that are complaining are known tax offenders. A simple search on the Columbiana Police Court's website will show you that. So most of these people who are complaining about, our, tax collection, probably don't want to be on the other end of it. That's what I think.
And I'm really excited for April 15th this year.
I can't wait.
You're the only person I've ever heard say that.
Just this year, though.
No.